Hi, Divine Ones, and welcome to today's mini teaching. My name is Eleni, and I just got off my live in the Glow Up Beauty Lounge membership. And it was such a great live that I felt inspired to come on here and do a little teaching and pop it up onto my social media as well. But today, we really went into talking about the masculine and the feminine polarities and how to evoke more depth, presence, and awareness from the masculine. And I wanted to jump on here as well and just share a few little pointers because it feels good too, and I'm in the mood. So, there's so much out there about the masculine and the feminine and polarity and what is right and what is wrong and what is feminine, what isn't feminine, like all the things. And I wanted to come on here a little bit today and give my perspective on a few things and just see what resonates with you, see what feels good in your body and lands, and just throw away the rest. So, how I like to describe the masculine in general is like a mountain. I like to give the point of reference like a mountain. Like when you feel into a mountain, think about a mountain. It's strong, it's sturdy, it's rooted into the earth, and it's unwavering. It's like the masculine part of us that never changes. And then there's the feminine, which is like the flowing river over the mountain that is always changing, that is moving with life, and that just moves. And that is the part of us that is feminine. And I see all of us, whether you're man or woman, that we all have masculine and feminine polarities inside of us. And like this goes against some polarity teachings where a woman is only feminine because she's a woman, or a man is only masculine because he's a man. And I feel that we have both inside of us. And I also, as an example, can take this to business, where, say, in the morning, say you're setting structure, which is a masculine quality, setting structure. And it's, say you're from like 7 to 8 a.m., you're doing mindset work, and say from 8 to 10, you're doing client work. Like there is safety in that structure. And then within that structure, your feminine is creating art with her affirmations, with talking to clients, with just creation and movement. Structure is masculine, it doesn't change, but there's movement within that, which is the feminine, right? And so inside all of us, there is a part of us that is always changing. There's a part of us that never changes, that eternal part of who we are. And so when it comes to polarity between a man or woman, or someone that is more masculine identified or someone that is more feminine identified, if you're gay, it doesn't matter. You can choose to embody more of the masculine pole or the feminine pole. So when I'm saying man or woman, it doesn't actually have to mean man or woman. It can be somebody that's more masculine identified or feminine identified. And so for there to be polarity, for there to be like a magnet, there needs to be somebody that penetrates. There needs to be somebody that is receptive to penetration. And that can be during sex, That can be like with heart penetration. That could be someone leading and the other person receiving leadership. And in regards to evoking more presence and depth from the masculine, I wanted to share an example here in regards to communication and being in the feminine polarity and communicating in the feminine polarity through your body and not through words. So, say you're in the car with your partner, you're in the passenger seat, he's driving, and there's music playing, and you're enjoying the music, and he changes the song. Just out of nowhere, he changes the song. You don't say anything. And you unknowingly show him through your body by slouching back in the chair that you don't like it. Like you just did it because just like a reflex by not liking what you're hearing. And he says to you, oh, don't you like the song? And you say, oh, not really. And he's like, that's okay, I'll change it. And he changes it. By you showing him through your body how you feel, he starts to gather data, information about you. And then he will want to lead and lead the situation into giving you what you want or giving you what you need. That response, by kind of slouching back in the chair a little bit and be like, will evoke more presence from a man than saying to him, do you really have to change the song? Do you really have to do that? Or I really don't like this song. Can you change it? And telling him what to do. Showing him through your body how it feels will evoke something different. Because more than likely, if you're telling him that it doesn't feel good in a way that tells him to turn the station, it won't feel good to him, and he won't it'll feel like he'll kind of move back the other way. Like another example could be when in a moment where you feel dropped and you feel like he's dropped your heart or he's not present with your heart. Say he's playing on his phone, just playing on his phone, and you're in the kitchen and you're speaking to him and he hasn't looked up from his phone. And you stop speaking halfway through and you're like, and you've got this energy moving through your body that's sort of like, I feel really dropped, like you feel the heart close and you're like, by you stopping your sentence and just holding presence and allowing there to be energetic space between you both and you not throwing words at him, it'll evoke a new response from him than continually staying on his phone. If he's attuned to your energy, which if you're having sex with him and he's like, your union partner, more than likely, he's going to feel you and your heart closure. He will turn and he will say, you have my presence, more than likely. Rather, if you're saying to him, you're never present with me, I'm sick and tired of that phone, XYZ, he's going to turn around and get defensive and he's going to say, I don't want to hear it, leave me alone, I'll do what I want, or whatever it is. In this way, you're holding polarity intact. You're revealing the truth of your heart. You're not withholding. You're sharing the truth in the moment. You're revealing your truth in the moment through your body. And then through evoking more of his presence, you can then share with him, I feel dropped when you lose presence with me when I'm sharing my heart. It'll register completely different than if you're throwing energy at him like a fire hose. Another more joyful example could be, as the masculine holds more structure, he's sort of more like, doesn't say as much as the feminine. He's kind of more empty. And, you know, when a woman's excited, she can share her energetic excitement with him. Say something exciting happens for you through the day and he comes home from work and you're like, oh my gosh, like this happened. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Is going to evoke a different response from him than if you're like, hey, guess what happened today? You know, this happened and oh my gosh, isn't that so great? You know, it's going to evoke something different than if you can see the excitement moving through your body, the energy running through your body. So this is what I like to share with women, is that to evoke more presence, to evoke more depth, for him to expand his awareness of you, it's about communicating more through your body, not just through your words. It's not about not sharing how you feel through your words, but we're always evoking different responses from each other. Always. Something that you embody or like reveal is going to evoke a different response than if you're like blasting and sharing and telling and telling and telling and trying to take the masculine pole and lead. So yeah, that's really important. And it's also really important. I'm just going to share this final piece here because I'm going to go into a whole massive training around this otherwise. And I want to keep all the goodness for my membership group. You know, a common feminine complaint is that, you know, my man's not affectionate with me in public. Like he's not rubbing his hand up and down my back and he's not doing things like that. Now, you know, it's important to remember that, you know, a man holds structure. He's the one holding structure. And usually it's the feminine that's kind of like, you know, rubbing and, you know, playing with her hair or his hair even, and, you know, and just like touching and nurturing. Like, sure, a man can pop his hand around your shoulder, pop his hand around your back, but it's generally he kind of holds it there, right? Or he holds it up around your shoulder, or you're holding hands and, you know, and you're the one that's kind of moving. You're the feminine flow. You're the moving river. He's the mountain that holds the structure. We create art within that structure as a woman or as a more of a feminine identified being. So it's really important to remember these parts, right? And, you know, the most important thing here for a woman to remain in integrity with her heart is to know her no and her yes. To not go into pleasing, to not go into fawning, but at the same time, to not go into full avoidance of leadership either. And if you're desiring to deepen into the feminine polarity, if you're desiring to move further into your body, if you're desiring to just really anchor deeper into your heart space and to awaken sexual desire and eroticism in your body, you have to know your yes and your no. You have to know what feels good in your body and what doesn't. Which means that you have to trust yourself and feel safe in your own body before you let somebody else lead you. If you're wanting to lean back, to relax, to be more receptive, you have to know your yes and your no. And then from this place, learning how to communicate in a way that reveals to the masculine how you feel rather than tells him how you feel. Notice the distinction there. If you're not receiving what you desire from a man, whether it's provision, whether it's leadership, whether it's more depth, look at how you're showing up first. Is your self-worth intact? Is your I am enoughness intact? Because if these parts aren't anchored into your identity, you're going to continually collapse. You're always going to blame men for how they show up, rather than looking at, if you're with a good man, being more aware and responsible with how you're showing up in your own practice of love. Again, final piece I'll add here is that if you're with somebody, you already have your patterns with each other. You have your patterns, he has his patterns, you have your patterns when you're together. To clear these patterns, to create a new path forwards, you're going to have to release the patterning, which means sometimes it's going to take a little bit of time. If you show up in one way differently once and you don't get the response that you want from him straight away and you give up, well, that's not really a practice of love. What you're doing here is showing up in a way because you want something from him, which on a deeper level, that's okay. But are you showing up because it's who you desire to be? Or are you showing up and doing something because you want him to change and to give you what you want? Again, notice the distinction here. Notice the difference. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. And I hope you've enjoyed the teaching. There's been a lot of golden nuggets in here. So I would totally take them in. And I'm sending you lots of love. If you're wanting to dive further into masculine and feminine dynamics, deep somatic work, feminine practices, then I invite you to also join the Glow Up Beauty Lounge membership. It's a month-by-month membership. I'll post the link below. You can cancel at any time, but there are also lives with me twice a month where you can ask your intimacy questions. You can ask about masculine and feminine dynamics. You can ask anything that you want. It's a space to support you along your love, healing, and intimacy journey. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you again soon.